So before I go to the gym and do more work in my body, I have been applying to jobs, and it actually hasn't been too bad. It's actually been really easy. I think my generation or this time period is very lucky, where you can just do a one-click apply thing. All you have to do is just upload your uh, resume. So it's been really easy, rather easy. I don't have to like go in and type all this shit over and over and over again. So that's good. Um, I'm not super worried. I am a little bit upset and annoyed about how I can't seem to figure out what I want to do. Granted, I know what I want to do, but I don't know if I want to skip all the waiting for the other ones and just commit to one or what. Because I've applied to a bunch so far. And I'm sure there are a lot of them where I can just actually get if I called and say, hey, I really want this job. I applied, blah, 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 blah. But I also don't want to like ruin my shot at the other ones. But I'm also just like, I don't know. So I need to find some patience in my ability to wait for things, because I'm not worried about not finding a job. I just want one, so I know I don't have to do anything else. Before that, I have to study for the LSW test so I can take that shit. But God, what is it? Yeah, so there's that going on. There's something else going on, wasn't there? Oh, I don't know. I guess that's kind of it. Also having competing interests in my brain about what I want out of a job. Um, like, do I want to go for a certain license or do I just want to work just to get experience? Uh, Honestly, I'd like to have a certain license or work towards a certain license so I can then, when I'm done with that, because I mean, if I'm going to be working to get paid for whatever I want to do, whatever, blah, 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 that makes sense. If I want to get supervision, I at least want to be paid for it. And I don't think that I'm going to have an easier time getting supervision later in life than I am now. So I will have to physically and mentally and just in general figure out what the hell I want to do and how I want to do it. Because the choices and places to live are endless. That's another thing. Places to live. Where do I want to live? I want to live on my own. That's one thing. That's one thing I know. Location has been the biggest pain in the whatever that I've been trying to figure out for the past 3 weeks of applying to jobs. I've been more open to just living in a remote place that nobody really knows or cares about, but I've also been wanting to go back to, I don't know, like, or wanting to go back to a non-remote place. It's like got nice weather, it's temperament, and it's got the beach. Trying to figure that out. That's a little pain in the ass too. If my world were perfect, what I would do is I would get a job in a remote place that nobody knows, and I would do that for like 4 or 5 years. Right? Finish all that stuff, get my experience, and then with my new licensures, move out to a place where I want to be, and then go from there. Did I just figure out what I want to do and how I'm going to do it? I think I might have. Huh. Well, okay. Well, that's cool. I've also been through this job process. I've been looking at places, and I've been more open to just actually not having to be on one certain side of the United States. I'm more open to looking anywhere. I applied in the middle of nowhere, in one of the Great Plains states. But another point of, I don't know if it's contention, but another point of something to think about is healthcare. And I understand that your healthcare is tied to your job, which is a ridiculous thing in the United States, but that's the reality we live in. Healthcare tied to job. So my job really, as long as my job has health insurance, I think I'll be fine. But I've also never been on that sort of wavelength of like having to figure out, hey, do you cover this medication? Because theoretically, I'd only need them to cover 2, 3, 4, 4.5 to maybe 5 medications a year. That's it. Other than that, I think I would be good. Oh, no. 4, 6, maybe 6, possibly 7. So I don't know how workplace plan health insurances work. Um, but I do know that that's something I have to get done. Or no, that's something I have to look into. I don't. That's the other part of the whole thing. Yeah, that's it. Anywho, it is what? So it's like 6 o'clock now. I've been at school all day. I came to school yesterday at like 9 for a meeting. Nobody showed up. I didn't email the teacher though. I was like, whatever. I finished 2 of the 3 assignments that I had to get done before graduation. The only one that's left is something that the teacher that I sent to has to sign, but it's a little bit awkward because I was supposed to get it done like 2 weeks ago, didn't get it done. So I'm stuck with, I do have a pen over there, that's right. I'm stuck with, I'm gonna have to formally communicate tomorrow, actually say, hey, I sent this over, can you do this? So yeah. Other than that, I gotta work more. I gotta work a lot more because I got things to pay. My goodness. Klarna and Affirm are the worst ideas on planet Earth ever, for humans at least. And of course, it's all about what you can control. You can control all of that. However, it's all just so, I was gonna say cheap, and it is pretty cheap, but yeah. So yeah, I know I said I'd get my spending habits in order, and that obviously hasn't happened. So something else needs to happen. I need to figure out. Apparently, you got to work backwards to get to the truth. So if I work backwards, I don't even know where to start with working backwards in this area. So I'd have to do some research. I have been able to have a savings account though, and that was really only because it was forced through my job. It's not really forced, but I set up a 401k account, which of course you put money into it for your paycheck. They match it by 5%, so it's free money. That's been super helpful of having a retirement. Not a lot in it though. At least I don't think it's a lot, but I feel like it's more than others. But then I'm also amongst a number of students who have family members and families at large who in and of itself of having that family is their 401k. So they don't really, yes, they need one, but like their families are going to be, their families are their 401k. That's all I'll just say. And in my case, if I'm being more critical of myself, definitely not my family's my family's not my 401k, but I think the only thing that I'll get after anyone dies is probably a house in the remote area of a state that nobody wants to live in. And that's going to be a little bit pain in the ass, because it's like, if I don't want to live there, who's going to live there? Because then you have to have payments too. And so that becomes a pain. So like, okay, so how does this work? Somebody dies, they give you a house. You still take over the payments on that house? Probably. What if you can't pay those payments? Then what happens? Does it just get repossessed by the government, state, whatever? I don't know. I've never thought about these things. Yeah, it's a very interesting question to think about when it comes to figuring out how you want to live, where you want to live, what you want to do. Anywho, this might be one of my last videos in this room. Maybe not. I might have some during the summer, but yeah. Currently, just still applying. That's the problem. I could definitely just send an email to somebody and say, hey, I want this job really bad. I'm willing to do whatever it takes because I have a degree that they will definitely take whomever. Of course, some places are like, you need to have this level of experience in this area, which is totally fair and understandable. But whatever. Anywho, I think I've made a plan where there's a job that I made this plan while I was talking this entire time. So the plan is, is to do the job in the remote area, do that for like 4 or 5 years, get the licensure, and then move to a place that I really want to move to. That's one part. The other part is I've applied for a job that has nothing to do with my degree, but it is something that I've been doing while being in higher education, which is basically student facing things, right? So doing student facing things, and I would be a director of student engagement for students who are in the graduate business program at Stanford or something, right? So I'd be doing that. And I applied to that one because A, the salary is really nice. B, it's at a university campus, so it's something that I can easily acclimate to mentally. And yeah, I think that would be the easiest way to save money for me personally, making a higher salary, saving money, putting that money towards a 401k. Of course, then I'd have to figure out how to actually stop having mental breakdowns so I don't spend money, blah, blah, blah. That'll be a fun time to figure out. But I think I applied to 2 positions, maybe 1. I think 2. I applied to 2. I didn't get one of them, which was fine. But so theoretically, I applied to 3 positions at this place. I got rejected from 2. This is the only one where I feel like I would actually have a chance of getting because of the student-facing roles that it requires. However, I don't think that I'm going to get it because there's just something about like I don't know anything about business schools or MBX. I don't know, like Masters of Business something. I don't know. So yeah, I can do the student-facing thing real well. I can manage programs pretty well. I can plan programs really well. When it comes to knowing about a certain degree that's not a degree that I've studied, especially if it's business related, you're gonna lose me there. But we'll see. Oh yeah, it is 6 o'clock. There's a clock right there. Anyway, yeah, you might lose me there. You might not. I don't know. We'll see. But I feel like I can at least try and see where I get with that. I expect a response from my email in about 2 weeks, so I'll let you know how that goes. Because I only say that because universities really start hiring. So I think this fiscal year for university starts July 1st. So you kind of have to have a budget in and all this other stuff before, or a little bit before, or a little bit after then. I think probably before then. And so at that point, you'd also want to figure out who you're going to hire and all that other stuff. So you kind of have to figure out, okay, who are we hiring? What are they going to be doing? How much are we going to pay them for that? Blah, 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 blah. So figuring all that shit out, I think is really important. It's going to be really important for them. So any higher education jobs I've applied to, I should know whether or not they've even looked at my application or even considering me if I have a response by at least the second week of June. If I don't have a response by the second week of June, like it's probably not going to happen, which is, I guess, kind of fine with me. Because I'd probably have to be out there by July something to get training. And then school starts, up in August? And you have a bunch of orientations in July for new students and all these other things. So, whatever. Whole bunch of things going on. Whole bunch of information. I'm interested to see what happens. Yeah. And then the last thing. This was something that I was thinking about with my YouTube channel. So obviously I have this channel, I do a bunch of stuff, I say a bunch of words, some of them not nice, some of them very nice, some of them just mean nothing at all. Some of the sentences just crash and burn like everything else does in life. And so obviously there's this thing called data mining, which when you apply for something, jobs can then backlook your information on a computer website thingamajig, and they can look at your stuff from there and be like, oh my gosh, this person's like this in their home life, blah, blah, blah. This person might be a liability when it comes to like this sort of thing. Like if I say blah, 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 like, oh my God, this person works for him. Oh no, someone's going to see that. Boom, fired, right? They don't want to deal with that shit. Example would be, I was listening to NPR as a kid, and on the way home, I actually remember this. We were coming down the hill because the hill had the mailboxes to our block, like right there. So we're coming down the hill, right? And so the NPR lady was like, no, the NPR guy was talking about to the NPR lady about how he was either fired or not hired for a job because they did a internet background search of him, and they found him in a photo with somebody else, which was one of his family members, who happened to be in a gang. And so they either fired or did not hire him. I think they fired him. And this was at the very like beginning of like figuring out that companies are data mining their employees or future or whatever employees, to see if they're a right fit or whatever, rather than just doing straight interviews. And when this became a big deal or whatever, so yeah, I was thinking about that. So I was thinking about like, okay, so during this process, should I just like not do channels or just not do videos? Do I just hide the channel? Um, because I don't want to like do this thing where I have to, and this would be entirely my fault, where I have to like, I don't know, change what I do or change what I talk about or how I talk about it. But I don't know. That's totally, at that point, I'd have to figure out, okay, I don't know. I mean, I guess at a certain point, it kind of become. I think if you really think about it, it comes down to like if you're going for a higher class job, they're going to do more work on their end, to look into you and then have different standards for you as a person. So if they find out that you do something like this, they're going to be like, let me see it. What is it? Blah, 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 blah. And then give you stipulations. You can either continue working here and not do as many videos or any at all, or you can not work here and do as many videos as you want. Kind of like the destroying situation back in like 2000 and what? 14, 13, whatever. So yeah, that's always a thing to think about when you have public facing internet things like this. Because even if they're like for you, the idea of a company or a workplace is not going to want to deal with whatever backlash happens because of you and your language, your topics, your whatever. Now, obviously, we've seen things with people who do like there was a lady who decided to do a twerking video in her, oh God, what is it? Her pilot outfit, stewardess outfit. What the fuck are those people called? Not a stewardess. Oh my God, I forgot the name. Anyway, the people who give you peanuts in the airplane, flight attendants. There we go. She got fired for doing that twerking thing in her flight attendant's thing at work, actually. And it was a big old mess. It wasn't that big of a mess. She was like crying. And they were like, company policy. So obviously, if you're going to do something that is stupid, don't wear your company logo anywhere on it, on your person. That's fucking obvious. But I guess some people don't know that. Okay, this is a 17-minute video. I kind of have to pee. I kind of want to go to the gym, but I kind of just want to sit here and do nothing. I could just log in here and watch a bunch of videos. Could do that. This place is open till 10. What time is it? It's Wednesday? Tomorrow's Thursday? What do I have to do Thursday? I don't think Thursday. Man, I gotta pee. Ooh, Thursday. I don't think I have to do anything on Thursday. At least from what my calendar says, which I don't think it says anything. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I have to do anything Thursday. I don't think it's going to be any less cloudy tomorrow than it is today. Kind of sucks. I get paid tomorrow from work. That's a good thing. Yeah. And then to give you an update, these are the you can't fucking see that shit. I got the shoes. I got the color. I got the rainbow shoes on. They've been pretty good all day. The only bad thing is like for Vans and things of these shoes, they're like, I'm gonna call them light plastic or whatever. Like the heel part, like the top of the heel part, like it scratches against one of my heels. It's always funny. It's never both shoes. It's always one shoe that does that. And also, Vans has a stupid issue where they make their laces too long. Don't know why they do it, but I have to tuck in my laces to my shoe in order for it to just not flop everywhere. And it was a pain in the ass this morning when I had to walk to school because it was raining. And guess what? And you know what? I really should have just taken my boots instead of these shoes, but I was like, I didn't think about it that much. Okay. This is this video. I'm going to go to bed. Actually, I gotta go pee. And then I'm going to, what else am I gonna do? I don't know. I'm gonna do something though. I'm not going to the gym. Fuck that. I cannot wait to be gone. Goodbye.